I think it's a mixed bag in terms of our preparedness today versus 9/11. On the one hand, we've seen some notable improvements. We now have the creation of the National Counterterrorism Center, which for the first time really fuses terrorism threat reporting across the U.S. government and across different sectors in one place. And by all accounts, that's been an important improvement. There have been improvements in the CIA, both on the operational side and on the analytic side. There are a number of reforms that have either stalled or are now in the danger of sliding backward, and that causes some real concern. In terms of the stalling reforms, there's a real concern about the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. So this was the intelligence czar who was created after 9/11 to run the now 16-agency intelligence community in the federal government. That position was weak when it was created, and it's grown weaker over the past year or so under Admiral Dennis Blair. We now have our 4th Director of National Intelligence in 5 years. That turnover is never very good for any kind of organization. It's particularly debilitating for an organization that's in the midst of a major reform push. The focus of the Obama administration has been on what I call the spotlight issues, issues that have garnered a lot of press attention and controversy, most notably Guantanamo Bay and detention and interrogation policies. What the Obama administration has not focused on are what I call the plumbing issues, making sure that the whole system works very well. So there's been a lot of effort spent on trying to close down Guantanamo Bay, trying to rationalize and improve interrogation policies, and not nearly enough attention from the White House paid to making sure the entire intelligence system is working as it should. I think the sense that you get from hearing the confirmation hearings of the current Director of National Intelligence, Director Clapper, suggests that Congress is very aware that that spending is not sustainable. The budget now is around $75 billion a year, and there's real concern that it needs to come down and it needs to be spent in a smarter way. What the Wikileaks episode reveals is that there's this constant tension between information sharing and security, on the other hand. So the good news part of the story is that intelligence agencies are pushing out intelligence information to the battlefield, which is exactly what they should be doing. The bad news part of the story is it appears that some of that information from the press reporting that I've seen included vital source information, which it shouldn't have included. That in most cases, what intelligence officials try to do is sanitize that information so that the names, identities of sources or particular intelligence methods are not passed around unless they absolutely need to be. So part of the concern with the WikiLeaks, I think, stems from the fact that there are specific names, and there is a potential for danger to both Afghan assets into American and Allied lives in Afghanistan as a result of the leaks of this information. Absolutely. I have a very good First Amendment lawyer who I trust with my life. I have found, it's hard being an outside academic looking at the intelligence community, because no organization likes to hear criticism from the outside, particularly when you're an organization where people who work inside are devoting their lives to keeping everybody safe. And I'm very aware of that, and I understand where that criticism comes from. But I have encountered some pretty serious obstacles in doing my research. One of the senior officials that I interviewed, for example, at the CIA, after talking to me, where he was authorized to talk to me, was hauled into the Office of Security and polygraphed the next day for 4 hours. And as he put it, if he had been a mid-level intelligence official, he would never have spoken to an outsider again. But because he was senior and because he felt that he was on the verge of retiring, he didn't care. And that's really disconcerting, that there's that kind of chilling effect. I'm working on 2. I just actually finished a book on congressional oversight of intelligence and why Congress has tied its own hands for years when it comes to overseeing the intelligence community. And it's a short book, but it's coming out next year by Hoover Institution Press. And I have a contract. I'm working on a book now that's everything you wanted to know about intelligence but were afraid to ask, kind of a CIA for dummies behind the headlines. And that book hopefully will get finished in the next year, and it'll be coming out in 2012.